Today is July 31st, Sunday, day plus 12. 12 days post my T-cell infusion. I haven't rolled an update in a while, so here is my latest update since I think day plus 4, which was I think last Saturday. Okay, Tuesday, day plus 7, I got discharged. Put my coffee down. I'm a little bit out of breath because I'm still low on red blood cells from 10 months of being on chemo. So I'm slowly recovering. The way I last left it, I had a slight fever day 2 and day 3. And the fever never got above 99.9 when I was in the hospital. And my liver function tests, all my liver enzymes, my ALTs, my ASTs, LKs, all that stuff, right? After, let's say, a few days after my T-cell infusion, they were elevated. They went pretty high. And that was expected because when they infused my T-cells, my body obviously is managing that, and they were expecting cytokine release storm, CRS. And along with that, you get, what do you get? You get a fever. Well, my fever never spiked over 100. So day 5, day 6, day 7, my fever was pretty much gone. I had a fever, well, I'm not even going to say fever, right? We're going to say elevated temperature. In the evenings would rise to 93, 98, 99.3, 99.8. And then it would just drop down to normal. And so I got discharged day plus 7, so that was on Tuesday. I got home and I was recovering from being at the hospital for 7 days and being woken up in the middle of the night for labs and given neurotoxicity tests where they asked you a lot of questions, and passed all that. And because everything was trending downwards, I got discharged. And it also helps that I'm really close to UCSD, so in case I needed to come back, I could come back. Well, on Wednesday, the next day, I spiked a fever, 102.4, 102.1. It was in there. And so I took some Tylenol, 625 milligrams, 650 milligrams. And within an hour, my body temperature dropped to 101.1, 101.4. So I know that my body responded to the Tylenol, which was good. But I called my my doctor, the doctor in the evening that was on call, and basically they said, come back to UCSD and we'll do some more evaluation because it is a clinical trial. Because I wanted to make sure that I didn't have an infection going on as well. Because CRS and having an infection, they present the same way in some aspects, right? You have a fever, right? And what happened was I went back in at 1 o'clock in the morning on Thursday, because Wednesday I was home all day, right? It was my first day back. And by the time I actually left my house to go back to the ER, my body temperature was back down to about 99.8. So I know it was dropping, but I was on my way to the ER to get admitted. And I got admitted, and they kept me that night. They did a number of tests. They did some blood cultures because they wanted to make sure that I had no infection. When I got home, I was basically neutropenic. My ANC was less than 1. So I was highly at risk for an infection. So they sent me home with antivirals, although I was taking antivirals while I was at the hospital. And they sent me home with antifungals, which I was already taking at the hospital. And also they sent me home with antibacterials, which I was not taking when I was at the hospital. So anyway, just an overabundance of caution as necessary. So I stayed that night, Thursday night. They gave me some Tylenol, and my fever dropped to 98.5, around there somewhere. And then the next day, it was normal. And in the evening of Thursday, it got to about, what did it get to? I think it got to about 101.2. No, 100.2, around there somewhere. So they gave me more Tylenol, 625 milligrams, and it dropped back down to normal. So in the meantime, my LFTs were still trending normal, down towards normal. And so in the afternoon, they discharged me because we now know that we can control my fever with Tylenol. And the blood cultures and all the testing didn't show that I had any type of infection going on. So that was a good thing. And if I did have some sort of infection, they had other drugs that they could administer to bring the infection down. And I didn't need any of that stuff. So I'm now back home. And so I got back home on Friday. Saturday, I didn't have a fever. Actually, Friday night, I had no fever. Saturday night, I had no fever. And today is now Sunday morning. And I'm feeling fine, other than having low red blood cells, which makes climbing this little hill, a little bit of a challenge, but not much. It's just, once you get going, your body, at least my body, adjusts, right? So I can still perform and I can still do things because I still think I've got some good aerobic and anaerobic capacity still. And so now I'm kind of hanging out. I never experienced any type of neurotoxicity, so that was good. So we're gonna go ahead and do more follow-ups. I was supposed to have a MRI scan on Thursday, but I wasn't able to make that one because I ended up back in BMT, which is the bone marrow transplant wing over at UCSD. And that's the department that administers the T-cell therapy.
Hello.
How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good. So where am I? Yeah, so the BMT department, bone marrow and transplant department over at UCSD administers the T-cell therapy on behalf of the CRM team at UCSD, which is, if I can remember right, the cellular regenerative medicine team over at UCSD. And so I was there and I couldn't go and get my MRI. And it wasn't really necessary that I got it so soon after the infusion of my T cells. I mean, it would have been great to see what effect the T cells had on my tumor, right? But we'll do that again coming up this week, I believe. So monitoring is going to continue. I hope my liver enzymes continue to trend normal. I hope my red blood cells, my hemoglobin, my hematocrit, all that continues to rise. because I am no longer receiving any type of chemotherapy. And so for the first time in 10 months, yeah, it feels good. And it feels kind of weird because the chemotherapy has been keeping my cancer controlled, right? And it has not shown any increase in size. And that's the good thing. Although my tumor markers, CA19, that's specific to my pancreatic cancer, have been rising. And even though I've been on chemo for 10 months, they were still increasing. And I did notice that as early as 2 days after my T-cell infusion, that the CA19 tumor markers dropped drastically. And they are trending down. And that's something that was not happening with chemo. So I will talk with my team this week and see what that means. I mean, this is a integrative approach and multi-departmental effort to treat me over at UCSD. So I have to get back to my doctor and then see where we are on this trial, and we'll go from there. It's still early to tell what's been going on, but I do know that my body generated some sort of response. How good of a response, I don't know yet. And I think we'll find out as we move forward. So it's day plus 12, rambling along, which is easy to do for me, right? So I think I'm gonna head back down now. I'm on my second cup of coffee this morning, and I haven't had coffee in a while. So yeah, I'm really feeling the effects of the 2 cups of coffee that I drank this morning. So yeah, we're walking down. I'm gonna kind of check out the beach, and I don't know if the sun is messing with the camera right now. Let me see if I can get it outside of the sun, if that's even possible. And yes, I'm glad to be back home.